There's a couple more being sent to the printer, but unless a bunch more show up, we shouldn't need them, so. So, yeah, it's front and back, so this is the first page and your last page is blank, and it's the only blank page, so.
And about how many pages are there?
Yeah, I think there's only like 2 or 3 more left to print, I just didn't.
Yes, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, listen up. Listen up, it's 5:30. I'm gonna forego some of the stuff on this agenda. And Jessica's gonna start her presentation.
I'm up.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. All right, perfect. Oh, let's wait for him to enter. Just in case questions come up.
Yeah. I take back what I said. I did part of the agency? Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's like a real meeting. I apologize. Okay, I call to order the special meeting of September 22nd, 2025. Roll call, Paul. What's he getting? You're the closest thing. It's close will be the activity there. Okay. Here. Yeah, there. Dennis. Right here. Carol. There. Is that it? Okay, please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we'll have the presentation by Jess, and after she has a presentation, we'll have questions.
All right, well, first and foremost, thank you all for coming out to basically help stop some of the rumors and get all the factual information out there so that we can answer any questions that the residents are having, that they've been coming to Charlie with, that they keep coming to me at soccer with, and so on and so on. What we're gonna go through tonight is we're gonna talk about how the treasurer position came about as far as appointed versus elected, why I was selected, why we ended up shopping our banks, the request for proposal process that we went through, the specifics of the proposals that we've received, how the interest works now and going forward, and then ultimately why the council did approve the resolution to move forward with Bank Springfield. And then we'll have questions if we have time. First and foremost, I want to go into why the position is now appointed. This has been something that's kind of been going all over Facebook. Prior council recognized that our city needed help. They needed guidance. They needed structure on the spending. In order to the city to truly be successful, we have to operate as a team. And one of the most important parts of a successful team is each person playing their role to the best of their ability. Council's been catching, I feel like, a lot of flack and a lot of hostility over feeling like they need to be the experts in everything, and that's just not realistic. Every business, well, I would say every good business, I feel like kind of does this. They hire to their weaknesses, and that was kind of the intent of changing this. When it's a elected position, we have treasurers that run for the position, and most of the time it's unopposed. And then just because someone is elected in position, it doesn't mean they're qualified, not qualified. And so this put it into the stance that they can really make sure they get someone with some financial background to come in here and help them. This passed July 22nd of 2024. So why me? First and foremost, I was the only one dumb enough to take the job. I would like to state that I was the only one that applied. But I also won't sell myself short. I've been a business owner for over 10 years. I've managed budgets, marketing, spending, everything, every ins and outs of businesses, I have done it. Also, my business, as many people have known, is in insurance. I manage risk. That is what my specialty is. Anybody who knows me knows that I've had an insurance business in town for over 10 years. That is still what I'm doing. It is on my resume. Everybody saw it when I applied for the position that I do work for Vegas Springfield. I have never hidden that. I am a assistant vice president for the insurance agency there. I still work only in insurance. I have no knowledge of the ins and outs of how they open checkings accounts. I have no key to the bank. I have no alarm code to the bank. I can't get into the safe. My bank is simply housed in an empty office in different branches that I travel to. The residents cry and the employees cry and everybody says they want somebody that's qualified. The caveat to that is that to get somebody that's qualified, that's gonna come in here and work for $500 a month, this has to be a secondary job. It's not their only job. Therefore, if they are qualified, they more than likely have experience or another job working in something that you could stretch to say is a conflict of interest. I work in insurance. I deal with risk management. I also deal with budgets and things like that with my businesses. Those who also had questions about investment advisors and things like that. I also have my 6 and 63 license, which means I can act as an investment advisor. I am not sponsored with a company right now. So on paper, I am not, but that doesn't mean that the knowledge went away when I gave up I'm not sponsored by somebody. I still passed the tests. I still have those licenses. I made the joke that apparently going into politics automatically erases your ethics. Based on the media, I can see why some people feel that way. However, that's not who I am, and it's not who I want to be represented as. A lot of people have been attacking me ethically. If you talk to my children, you will know that one of the things we talk about is being a good citizen. That is the reason that they know their mom is not home on Monday nights. It is the reason that they know we go and pick up steaks at our neighbor's yard because she's older and she needs help, because that's what you do as a good neighbor and a good citizen. We talk about it often. It is something that I take a lot of pride in. When I was 14, I went to my uncle who had taken me in, and I told him that I wanted a laptop. And so in addition to my job that I had on their farm, he offered me a penny a rock. And I was in southern Missouri, so as you know, there's rocks everywhere. But the rule was they had to be bigger than a softball. So I, thinking I would be smart, found a rock that was a little bit bigger than a soccer ball. So I set up a concrete block, and I thought that it would be smart to throw that thing as hard as I could on that concrete block and make it turn into multiple softball sized rocks, because otherwise I was only going to get the penny. And so I thought I was being smart. My uncle, from that day, I did not get my laptop. I continued having to pick up rocks that I did not get paid for. And I was told that money will come and go, possessions will come and go, but your ethics and your integrity is the only thing that you have full control over. And so that is something that I stand by. And so it is something that has hit me very deeply, that people are questioning and pulling into all of this. I told a few people working for the city feels like you're watching your house catch on fire while running as fast as you can to put water on it while your neighbor comes running with lighter fluid. Every time it feels like we start to make a step forward, it seems like we're getting attacked, and people are automatically assuming that we're operating based on past administration. I understand. I can't do anything about the past. Our streets, our sidewalks, everything's falling apart. We need trees removed, trees planted, employees need other trainings. Our city hall is falling apart around us. We have flooding around town. Area residents cry they want more businesses, while others cry, please don't destroy our historic district. All of it entails money. Essentially, the city has a big problem. I thought I could offer some water and some solutions. So we'll get into why we shopped. Over the last year, the city has had 2 different cases of fraud. And then the year prior to that, they had another one. When fraud is not caught, it entails us having to file a claim on our insurance. Therefore, the taxpayers' money is being paid towards the deductible. And what I feel like is a waste if it's something that we can prevent. Also, as an insurance professional, I can tell you that if you have more claims, your premiums are going to go up. Or the other thing that will happen is you'll receive a cancellation notice. So for example, if you have a tree that's dropping limbs on your roof over and over and over, they're going to send you a notice that says remove the tree or we're going to cancel your insurance. So my question is, what are we gonna do to minimize our fraud? Because right now, we've had 3 instances in 2 years. There's 2 different levels to this. There's internal controls and there's external controls. From our internal controls, this is increased time and money that's being spent by our team here. We are spending hundreds of dollars on sending checks out with a tracking number so that we can make sure they get into the hands of the right people. I always tell people, this is kind of our level 1 security. And just because you lock your front door doesn't mean if you have an alarm system, you don't set it. We want to have, what can we do internally? What can we do externally? In the beginning of 2024, Michelle had done some research and learned what positive pay was. On November 18th of last year, farmers and merchants came to and explained positive pay to the council at that time. On December 9th, First Federal came and gave a presentation on their options for fraud protection. On December 16th, FCB came and gave another presentation on positive pay. Around this time, Alderman Charlie at that time was the head of finance and tried to shop our banking relationship then. Prior to me being on, this was all in 2024. I was told that he was brought to a sudden halt as the previous attorney and clerk felt that he was acting unethically. It is my assumption that some of this is because that the job is to be completed by the treasurer and that they were not following the formal process and the guideline, but that is just my assumption. So when I came on, obviously everybody knows about the city's financial struggles. I pay a lot of money in property taxes. Between my husband and I, it's way too much. I don't want to pay any more in property taxes. So I'm not going to stand before you and recommend that we increase our property taxes until I can tell you that I feel like we are being efficient with our money and that we are leveraging it as much as possible with the money that we do have. Until those answers are there, then I can maybe say we can increase taxes. But right now, I don't feel like that should be a first resort when we know we're leaving so much on the table. So what can we do about competitive interest rates today? Right now, we've been earning 0.35% on most of our accounts. Some of them have been lowered. We need to increase our rate today. And then also, one of the things that I keep hearing is, oh, banks are going to offer you this increase today, but then as soon as you're there for a month, they're going to drop them way down. So how are we going to handle that in the future and make sure that we're competitive going forward? So we're going to talk about those things. First and foremost, council's familiar, but I want to explain what positive pay is. It's an automated cash management service and fraud prevention technique offered by banks that help businesses detect and prevent fraudulent transactions with checks and ACH payments before they hit their accounts. So the way this works, the city issues a check, they will submit check number, check amount, check date, and the payee name into a system. When that check goes to be presented for payment, if any of these things don't match, even off by a letter, a number, if anything is not identical to how we entered it, we get a fraud alert. The city then receives that and the bank will notify us that it's a flagged transaction. We will review it and we will tell the bank to either approve the transaction that we just mistyped something or messed up on our end, or we'll reject it. This prevents the fraud from hitting the bank before the money is taken. It also prevents us having to go through the process of ordering all new checks and wondering if our account numbers have been compromised and completely changing all of that. The average person has had their debit card compromised. You know how big of a hassle it is. Imagine if it's your operating accounts for the city. We talked to First Federal at that time, which is everybody knows who we bank with currently. They were not willing to add it at that time, and it was perfectly okay. It didn't make sense for their business at that time. So I went to the attorney and I said, this is what I've researched for the request for proposal. Can you walk me through that process? I want to make sure that we don't run into the roadblock like we did last time. And I want to make sure that all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So we went through that together. And so the requests for proposals were sent out. There was no phone calls between banks. It was only done through emails. All questions answered to all banks and the mayor. So if a bank asked me a question, the answer was CC'd to every bank involved and the mayor to make sure everybody had the same information. They were turned in as sealed proposals, kind of like our bid process. They turned them into City Hall. Heather recorded when we received them. She sealed them. They went into a locked drawer and we kept them until we had a meeting to open them. We met, when I say me, I mean the head of finance, Mike, Charlie, the mayor, and then admin assistant Stephanie and myself all met and we opened the envelopes all together in one room at the same time so that nobody could say Somebody turned their proposal in on Monday and somebody called and told them what it said so that banks could adjust before it was due on Wednesday. Everything was sealed. We opened them in a meeting. One of the things we've been questioned on is when it got to the Bank of Springfield proposal, I did remove myself from the conversation as soon as we opened it and I saw that it was my employer that had submitted the proposal. I did tell them that I was not going to make any comments. I would like them to look at it and then we would address things as things went forward. At that time, the three of them reviewed them and all three of them felt with hands down that it was the strongest proposal on the table. On August 18th, our head of finance, Mike, shared the findings in an Excel spreadsheet and shared that along with the mayor and Stephanie were recommending bank number 4. He told them at this time that there was any questions to let us know, and at the following Monday, we would discuss it. Committee recommended moving forward at that time with bank number 4. On August 25th, we shared that the specifics of bank number 4 proposal and released that that was with Bank of Springfield. Any of the aldermen that asked me which bank was which on the charts, I did disclose to them. I was not trying to keep that in secret. I would also like to state that at this time, Alderman George had questioned if we had followed the process correctly and if there's anything that we did wrong there. The attorney spoke them and informed them that we followed the process as we had gone through. There also was a concerned citizen letter that was sent in that also was forwarded to the attorney and he reviewed it and found that I did not do anything unethically in how this was handled. As you can see, I know it's sorry about the glare, but I gave some of you guys printed copies. So this is a copy of the chart that the alderman received. It says bank 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have added on here the bank names. One of the things is I want to make sure that everybody is aware that the first column in the thing said Lebanon branch, and it says yes or no. And if they were not in Lebanon, it said exactly how many minutes they were from town. So aldermen had that information. There was no way, shape, or form that I was hiding and that they didn't know that the bank number 4 was out of town. There's another column on there that shows remote deposit. That's the system that sits at his desk that lets him deposit checks and do it all within City Hall without having to leave. 3, the banks offered that. Getting into the specifics is everything. I have already educated you guys on what positive pay is. As you look at the chart there, you will see that banks 2, which is FCB, bank 3, Farmers and Merchants, and bank 4, Bank of Springfield, all offered positive pay. But bank number 1, First Federal at that time, still felt that it was not a good investment for their business to add positive pay at this time. And that is perfectly okay. And that's one of the things that I want to clear up. I 100% hope that our community supports our local banks. Unfortunately, right now, First Federal doesn't have a product that has the fraud prevention that we really need to protect the taxpayers' money. And so therefore, since they're not willing to add that, we have to look at other options. The next thing we'll get in is to the fees on that column. As you'll see, bank number 1, bank number 4 gave a no fee proposal. Bank number 3 said that they only charge a fee for the remote deposit. But that remote deposit wasn't really going to be necessary because that bank was a local bank. So it was kind of an optional fee. So I will consider that a no fee proposal as well. FCB, as you can see there, had quite a few different charges for different kinds of fees. They were charging 7 cents per deposited item and so on and so on. So it'd be really difficult for us to calculate exactly what our expenses versus our return was going to be on those accounts. Getting into the interest, first I'll start with Farmers and Merchants. Farmers and Merchants wanted us to go to what they call a money market structure, which lets us use things that they call sweep accounts. Basically, we needed to be able to pool all of our money into the same account to be able to get the most interest and the most return on our money. The problem with that is the current systems that we have set up in the city do not work very well for that. We right now have everything split up and separated. Our accounting software, everything would have to change for us to be able to go to this. It would be a very time-consuming process. It would be an expensive process because we would probably have to upgrade softwares, not to mention the hours that we would have to pay Michelle and everything to kind of move everything over in addition to her duties. I am not saying that is not something that we can look at doing in the future, but right now it was not conducive to the way that the city has things set up. Right now, we still write a ton of checks. And even though in everybody's daily life, that's becoming kind of an outdated thing, it is a very current thing in the city, and it is not something that we can eliminate right now. As you can see on their interest checking accounts, so the money that we couldn't pull together, which is the majority of our money, was only going to be at 0.40%, which was going to yield us a comparable interest to where we are currently and not really gain as much of a profit. For First Federal, you can see that they offered us a 2.5% with a 1.5% spread. All of the banks that submitted proposals only guaranteed their rates through December 31st. All of the banks did that. That was not just one, that was all of them. They all then went from that point where they set some kind of adjustment based on the Fed rate at that time on how it would adjust. So for example, First Federal at the time of the proposal said their rate was at 4% and they offered a 1.5% spread. Therefore, we would get 2.5% on our accounts. To kind of show what this would mean, had we been on this last year and the years prior, July 26th of 2023, you can kind of see a federal rate chart on the left-hand side. The rates were at 5.25, so a 1.5% spread would mean that they would pay us 3.75% interest at that time. Now, on the contrary to that, once we went through some adjustments from COVID and things like that, when they bottom all the rates out, it is possible that we would have gone down to what would have appeared to be a 0%, even though most of the banks have on their interest-bearing checking accounts, they would have paid a little something. But for illustration purposes, I showed you guys that we will go up, we will go down. So this is how we can stay relevant and stay competitive going forward. Right now, every single one of them based it off of that. So as rates go up, our interest will go up. As rates go down, it'll go down, which is the best way for us to remain competitive. Had a few people say, well, then this isn't really going to yield much in the future because the feds are supposed to lower the rates. Yes, they are. That is why it's very critical that we get this taken care of as quick as possible. So the money that we can lock up into a CD, we go ahead and do that because I'm going to be able to leverage a higher return on those CDs quickly and then be able to lock that in for a longer period than what the checking accounts are going to be. However, the checking accounts are still going to be significantly higher than what we were yielding for it. Going into this, you can see on the right-hand side where I did estimated returns and differences. This is based on the $4.5 million average balance. And this is also illustrating the interest rate that they offered through the end of the year, also what they would have had last year. So it kind of shows what we would have earned last year had we been on this plan. You can see that First Federal is at 2.5%, FCB was at 3.46%, but again, they had all those fees, so it's hard for us to know what the return would be. Farmers and merchants, kind of hard to calculate, depends on what accounts we would go into. Most of them will be at 0.4%. And then Bank of Springfield was at 3.75%, and they are giving us 0.65% from whatever the Fed rate comes to after the end of the year. To clear a couple things up, this is on our on-demand checking accounts only. We still have $1.7 million in our CDs and our investments. We don't have any plan to move that out of town. Recently, the community has been educated a little bit on the Illinois funds, and it's a question if we should move money into that. In May, when our CDs came up, when I first came on, the Illinois funds were not giving a much higher interest rate than what First Federal was giving us at that time. So I recommended that we keep them with First Federal because I do care about keeping them on a local that we can. Also, those are insured by collateralization or through FDIC, whereas the Illinois funds are backed by the state. You can have your opinion on that, how you feel, but they are not FDIC insured. They are only backed by the state of Illinois. And when I say backed by the state of Illinois, I encourage you to read what that means because they're not actually insured by them. So we won't get into state politics. So why do we go with Bank of Springfield? Competitive interest rates were significantly better. The top of the line fraud prevention services that they came in and spoke to the employees about and that we continue to research. Also, they have been a Lebanon Chamber member since March of 2025. I know that that has not been long, but I do want to state that they have been involved in our community prior to this even coming available and to me even taking the position. They have given over $2,000 to the community prior to this opportunity through Fireman's Picnic, the Lebanon Youth Soccer Program, and the Chapter 1 project, which is what provides all the school supplies to the students down at the elementary school and then also at the junior high and high school level. All of these things they had contributed to prior to this opportunity. When they say that they care about the community, they have already shown that they do. And all of these things I thought were making them, even though they're not in town with a local branch, I think that they are showing that they still care about our community. I would like to share that even though we recognize that we have we've had some shortcomings in the past, Ms. Washington said a few weeks ago that she admitted mistakes have been made and also said that probably wouldn't be our last. I personally don't feel this is a statement of not caring. I would like to share that it's a statement of self-awareness, a statement of being human, but also a statement of speaking growth and change. We want to improve this city. This administration is working hard to be more proactive and get us headed in the right direction. It is my job as the city treasurer to be knowledgeable of the city's finances. It is not their job to be knowledgeable of the ins and outs of them. It is my job to educate them. I want to help protect and leverage the taxpayers' money to the best of my ability. That is my role. It is a role I take seriously, and I hope that you guys can see that from tonight's presentation. Ultimately, though, I have no vote. I have no authority to actually move any of the money or do anything with the city's money without this council's approval. If anything has come with a lot of people have said that I have gained a lot of personal money, and I've been getting gifts and things like that they think I'm secretly getting from moving this to Bank of Springfield. People have asked if it's allowed to be FOIA'd for my paychecks because they want to see that I'm getting a bonus. I am not getting paid. I don't get paid commission, but I also don't work in banking products. So I nowhere, shape, or form had this come with a personal gain. If anything, it's also been a personal sacrifice. I knew this recommendation would come with pushback. I could have cowered away. I could have backed down with the first time I was threatened or the second, but I didn't, and I won't. You can disagree with my opinion, but it is my job to make a recommendation that benefits the most taxpayers and not the few of this community. I stand here today believing that is exactly what I have done, and that is what the council has backed. This is a move that will benefit the most taxpayers. With that, with the time that we have, and as long as Charlie is in agreement with it, I will take questions. Council can answer questions. The attorney is also here and can answer questions. Hope I cleared up some of the rumors, but we have until about 6:20 before we would really have to cut everybody off. So I will open the floor however you see fit.
No questions. Hey, Jess.
Yes.
You might tell them how many banks you contacted to begin with, how many showed interest in how many actually.
Yes. So, in the prior meetings before mailing it out, I told the aldermen if they had a banking relationship with a bank that they thought might be interested to let me know, send me those names. We ended up sending out about 10 different packets. Some of those I hand delivered, some of them I emailed. But we also had it in the paper that anybody within 10 miles of the city of Lebanon could put in a proposal. I did have 2 banks that ended up calling me and saying, hey, it says 10 miles. Is that 10 miles from City Hall? Is that 10 miles from the city limit line? And I go, didn't think about that. I don't know. So go with yes, submit your proposal. And because I wasn't clear on that, so if you're 10 miles from the exact city edge out there, we'll accept it. And so we had 5 that said they were gonna send in proposals, and we only ended up receiving 4. Any other questions? Yeah. First Federal is the current bank. And like I said, we still have money in all the CDs and everything. We still plan on leaving there. Like I said, as much as people like to say that we don't, I do 100% support local. Unfortunately, with these checking accounts, there's just not a product in town that really is conducive to what we need to do as a city. And so I will leave what I can here. But I think it is in the city's best interest to go with someone that can offer positive pay and that can yield a high interest on their checking accounts. Anybody else? This is kind of a review for the aldermen. They had most of this information. I think they already had, so.
Yeah, yes, you might mention if money, cash has to go to the bank, the folks taking it and then be bonded, or bonds.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have several people already that are bonded. So if a cash deposit needs to be made, because the system will sit on the desk that allows for checks to go through. But obviously that's not going to work for the little bit of cash that we have. So those that will be bonded will have a schedule and figure out exactly how they're going to take it and where they're going to take it. As I've shared before, it's not a process that I'm going to share in the open council meeting of the specifics of what we'll do. But they will be bonded and we won't have to worry about that. And I actually will share that the way that it'll work is the deposit will be ran here by the people that always run it. And there'll be a ticket here that says what the deposit's going to be for. And then let's say myself or Charlie or Stephanie or whoever would take the deposit, we're bonded, we would take the deposit to the bank. Michelle then on the back end is gonna see that we deposited with the same amount that Paul filled out the deposit slip for here at City Hall. So there's actually an extra layer of checks and balances that we don't currently have. Anyone else?
No more questions, like a motion to adjourn.
I'll agree with that.
In a second.
Second.
We're adjourned then.
Perfect. See you guys at 6:30.
I wouldn't. Well.
2 minutes.
And when I got into it, you better hustle. That was only about 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. The NFPA, that's almost fresh, they almost really. And college no longer. It still exists, but it's a poor profit now. It was the seventh. Yeah. They bad keeps working. There's only about, at the time, only about, I don't know, actually, there are like a couple churches up in New York and then down in Virginia and one way.
Legion plane.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's not public standard.
I do. That's what the mother.
That's fine now.
It's better than driving.
Not
Not a thought. Walking 2 miles to the current home. This is Wilmer.
Yeah, he said he'd be here about 5 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, when I took the door back, it was terrible. Parked right outside the terminal.
He's gonna get sworn.
It's not all. It's got some governor.
Yeah, he has the.
Teasing.
Yeah, he has it there. Yep. If it shows up, just call him and say there's a fire. Yeah, Marie and I are.
Belleville, they're flying. Most places in Florida now.
You might like.
Not just that.
Let's have to stall.
Las Vegas.
Hey, listen up, everybody, 6:30, time to call to order the 11th City Council meeting for September 22nd, 2025. Roll call, please.
Belkey. Bennett. Here. Cornish. Farrow.
Here.
Marcinkowski.
Here.
Smith. Here. And Washington.
Yeah.
That it? Good. Yeah. Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need a motion to approve the omnibus agenda? So. Second. And roll call, please.
Farrow.
Yes.
Marcinkowski.
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Washington.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes.
That's it. Okay, next on here is, I'm gonna skip this for a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and do my thing. I'm gonna have committee assignments tonight. I'm gonna have Paul Krumzig, is public property. Mike is finance, RJ is water sewer, Amber is cemetery, George is ordinance, Linda health and safety, Sean, Streets and Alleys, and Mr. Bennett over here is Personnel. And I have something to read here. I want to extend my thanks to State Representative Kevin Schmidt for visiting City Hall during his trip to Lebanon last Tuesday. While I was unable to attend due to prior commitment, Michelle and Stephanie were able to meet with him on my behalf. From all accounts, it was a productive and valuable conversation focused on how his office can support our community through state assistance. The meeting covered potential grant opportunities and recommendations to address our ongoing watershed concern, as well as strategies to fill the grocery gap once IGA closes. We sincerely appreciate Representative Schmidt taking the time to connect with us and discuss these important issues. Paul, show up yet?
Still act on it, because it's where the accident is.
You want to spend the next time? Okay, about a week ago, I handed out, Paul Crums's kind of bio, I was just wondering if anybody wants to make a motion to approve him as Ward 1, replacement for Pat Stevens.
I'll move that. Then approve Paul Crumbs.
Have a second? Second. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Marcin,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Appointing all.
this is, motion saying was made for,
Paul
Paul
Crum.
Crumbs.
Oh, yeah.
Bennett
Yes.
and Farrell.
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the audience. Anybody have anything to say? Hey, Dave?
Last week at the committee meetings, Dave Renfro, Sylvan Vista. I handed out some paperwork about the, Clinton County Sheriff has in the past arrested and jailed a person with a 7-year-old intelligence of a 7-year-old back in 2021, and the person was put back in jail again. So my question is, I don't know if the lawyer that we have has misadvised the police in regards to arresting those people that have trespassed and broken into places and assaulted people. And on that line, is it too late now? Statutes of limitations for those people to now file charges against those people, meaning that they can and have been arrested and jailed. And I fact checked it. I gave you guys that information last week. I don't know if it got passed to the lawyer or not, but he can check into that on his own time. And the other thing I would like to know is there some way to make sure that if there's a 911 call to either one, the proposed group home, the existing group home, or even if it's a non-group home person, that there is not just a 911 record, that there's actual police report of what the incident required or what happened. So if we go forward with that and there's a continuation of a certain person or a certain residence having an issue, that there's a little bit more information than just a 911 call. So I guess that's all I got on the group home. The next thing is, you guys took over Belleville Street. I'm just wondering what incentives did the city get to take that over? I know I had put up stuff before you took it over officially, about fixing the bad spot out at 50 in Belleville Street. Haven't heard anything about it, but Cody told me that now that the city owns it, that the city will be going out, or the city could go out for bids for repairing it, and that the city would pay for it. I'm just wondering if that's on the docket or gonna be looked at, or was I just told something so I would kind of go way quiet in the night or whatever? And being that you guys took it over, when do you plan on mowing the grass out there? I mean, I thought, maybe you could have called the county, we'll take it over, but hey, mow the grass one time beforehand, you know, just thinking outside the box on things like that, so. And then last meeting, there was, I was confused about the crack filling bid that. There was a discussion that it was 18,000 and there was a discussion that it was $58,000, so. Who's given the Overman the information and why aren't they, I mean, that's $40,000 difference, what is it actually, and then. How can, is it a Freedom of Information Act, or what can I do to actually get that and see that? Crack fill bid, or was there just one bid, was there multiple bids, or what, I'd like to have some information on that, and, the last thing I have is, as far as the lift station issue, Penny brought up about how, you know, my opinion is, the city paid for a job to be done, and it wasn't done properly. And the feeling I got from the city attorney was, if they don't go by this one's recommendation and there's damage when they take the lift station out, that the city could be held liable. I don't believe that. I believe that if whoever has to fix it, fixes it right, and the person or the company that's taking the lift station and removing it, if they destroy it, they should be insured and bonded. And I would hope that whenever there's a project going on, that the city makes sure that the contractor's insurance holds the city on there, it's in there so that the city is not liable for anything that's going on out there. So I think that you guys should go back and have it done the way we paid for it to be done. And it should be done that way, and that if it takes 6 months, it takes 6 months, but the thing of, it's, every time I've come up here and it's my opinion, it's easy to say, oh, you can't do that, oh, you can't do that, oh, you can't do that. My thing is, I was on the council years ago, and the city attorney said that a few too many times, and the mayor said, I don't want to hear that again. I want to hear how we get it done. So there's things I think that aren't getting done by the attorney. And I think that the attorney needs to step up and do a little bit better job. Or in my opinion, the attorney should be replaced. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Anyone else?
It's Joe.
I got something. I wanna talk about what Dave was talking about too, and I mean, why should we be paying
Tell everybody who you are.
Todd Brennan? Why should we be paying for a second opinion on that? And when the council voted on that, they put a cap of $10,000 on it. Everybody voted on it. They never said where that 10,000 gonna come from or anything. I think that they did the engineering, they designed the project. That's the way it should have been put in. It wasn't put in right, so I honestly think the engineering firm and maybe the person that, the company that put the lift station in should be held responsible. The city shouldn't have to take care of any of that. And having an attorney on retainer, we should have a little backing from that, just to say, hey, you guys are responsible for this. You put it in wrong. You did the wrong engineering on it. Fix it. Don't charge the city. Fix it. Another thing I got. From what I understand, the city's looking at buying the IGA store. The price for that store is like 1.8 some million dollars. Where's that money coming from? I understand they probably have grants or bonds or whatever they're gonna do with it, but I'm gonna repeat what Mr. Belkey said one night. If stuff needs to be fixed in town here, we don't have the money, you're shit out of luck. Why did we have a building here? We have a police station. We have an ambulance station over there. Why should the taxpayers have to pay for that when we already have this building here? I don't understand it. Can't do anything else around town. Fix the streets, fix the sewers, fix the sidewalks, but we can go pay. It's gonna be well over $2 million after they remodel that building the way they need it done. So I don't understand it. We don't have any money to do anything else on the infrastructure, but we can waste $2 million on that. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Todd. Anybody else? Okay, Ron.
Ron Trainee. First thing I'm gonna do is thank the city for finally looking at updating the reimbursement for sidewalks in town. They're about 50 years old, and what they're doing first. Needs to be done. I have some questions and comments. It says, and I'm looking at the supporting documents that were given after the meeting. It says that the city will participate in the cost of construction up to the amount of 50% of such construction costs. That to me is totally vague, doesn't tell me a thing. Up to amount could be anywhere from $1 up to 50%. If you're gonna pay 50%, say 50%. To me, it's vague. So I had an issue with that. Also says approval depending on the funds being available. My question is there gonna be money budgeted every year to put in a fund that's gonna be there to replace these sidewalks when people come up here and say, I wanna fix them? Because if you're gonna pay 50%, there's people that are gonna go for that. 60 cents a foot we had before, ain't no way. Okay, they talk about a list of qualified contractors that people will have to use. I don't have to get a qualified contractor to do plumbing, electrical work, or anything else in this town. The problem I have with having to use the city's approved contractor, from some of the discussions that were here earlier, we haven't had real good luck with your contractors. I'm sorry.
Or the engineering firms.
Or the engineering firm, absolutely. That's something, it's a problem I have with it. You need to do this, absolutely. Bear with me one second. Question, somewhere in there, I can't find it right now. It talks about, not doing this on new subdivisions. Okay, my question is, what about the old subdivisions in this town that we have a sidewalk here, a sidewalk there or not? Well, I'm out on Fallowfield, same thing, all over town. I own the lot next door to my home in Fallowfield. If I decide to put a sidewalk in there, will the city help me on it, or will they not? It's not clear from this. It's not a new subdivision, it's a 25-year-old subdivision. So if I go by new, it ain't new. It's a question. The city has recently, without going into specifics, spent a lot of money to replace a sidewalk in front of somebody's house in town. The owner did not pay a dime. Got a problem with that. We all know where it's at. I'm not gonna mention names. The other thing, as far as contractors go, okay, if I wanna do this work myself, can I do it? My contention is, do it like you do anything else. You have specifications for the sidewalks. I got that. It has to meet certain standards, certain specifications. Give me the specs. It would have to be inspected by the city. I know that's gonna happen. Like, you can do that, right? So why not go with that basis? It's gonna have to be inspected and let the owner do it if he wants to. Get your own contractor. There's a big difference between contractors. I just had a couple of small jobs done, one at my house, a couple of my rentals. Huge difference in two different contractors in concrete work. I'm talking a lot of difference. I prefer the option, letting me pick the guy that's gonna do it, the price. As long as it passes inspection, meets code, should not be a problem. This can work. It needs to be done. It's a right direction. Just clean it up a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Anyone else? No one else? Okay, any older person?
I got,
Okay.
Sean and I got together last week, I think, Mr. Renfro, I think, you had asked a question about the, Route 4 light. So I had talked with him and a friend of mine works for IDOT, does the lights. I gave him a call last week. He said he was gonna go by there and check on it, cause he knows that there was a power outage there at one point in time. And there is like a system that they have, in that in that box there or whatever, so he was gonna take a look at it. I didn't get a chance to call him today. I'll call him tomorrow and I'll be able to let you know, like, but I know he went by there and I don't know if he adjusted it or not, but they were contacted and he did go and look at it. I just don't know the detail on if he adjusted anything on it or not.
Thank you.
Well, George?
Sure. Dave, you asked about the cost of the practice. That is $18,477. It was available, it is available on the city's website, the entire proposal.
Anything else, George? Honestly, anybody else? Okay, we're gonna go back to something that needs to be done now. Paul, you wanna come up there? You gonna swear again? People start swearing at you after you swear again.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Assuming everybody said yes.
Okay.
Okay,
your right hand, please. And repeat after me, please. Cheat sheet.
okay,
I, Paul Krumzig, have been appointed to the office of alderperson for the city of Lebanon.
I, Paul Krumsick, have been appointed to the office of City of Lebanon for Alderman.
In and for the county of St. Clair and the state of Illinois, do solemnly swear or affirm
And then for the county of St. Clair in the state of Illinois, do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and the ordinances of the city of Lebanon.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and the ordinances of the city of Lebanon.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of alderperson for the city of Lebanon to the best of my ability.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Alderman for the city of Lebanon to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. I can take my seat over there. Oh, this is gonna be a big change.
We need to sign a couple of things.
Okay.
Either one.
Okay. Ready? Okay, guys, we need to do a roll call on affirming Paul as the Ward 1 Alderman. Roll call, please.
Peter Belkey. Bennett,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Clumsy,
I will say probably yes.
Ardzikowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's here.
I think they all.
Okay. That it? Okay, congratulations, Paul. Okay, now we can move on to committee reports. Streets and alleys, Sean isn't here tonight. Someone want to read it? Do you want me to read it? Okay, streets and alleys, I mean, October 6, 2025. All we have for tonight is committee recommendation to move forward with Lebanon Streets crack fill proposal for Alderson Belkey. There is money in the fiscal year budget of 18,000, whatever that number was, 400 some dollars. Comes from committee, so it doesn't need a second. Roll call.
Bennett.
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Krumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington.
That's it. Okay, number 2 on there, discuss, recommend moving forward with the sidewalk plan, city to refund up to 50% of the sidewalk project. Anybody have any discussion?
Yeah, I don't think we can move forward on this. There are too many holes in
Yeah.
We want to table that then?
it. Yeah, I'll table it for now. I move the table.
Need a second on it or not?
I was just gonna add, I would agree, I like Ron, got some great points. I'm not going to sit here and take 100% credit for it. Because all I did was pull something from the city of Scooters ordinance. With that being said, he makes a great point on the homeowners side. I do believe the ordinance though, on speaking on the contractors half, maybe we read it different. I'm glad it's out there for people to read so we can talk about it. I think what I was reading it as is that the city would bid every year for us, if we do any sidewalk work, then we just bid that hourly rate out at the beginning of the year and we use that contractor. I'll make sure, we'll talk to the lawyer, make sure that there is a homeowner clause in there because a lot of people can do great work. Get an inspector to come back and do it, so if you know what you're doing, we wanna make an incentive for it. I'm gonna go down my list here real quick, if that's all right, to answer his questions, or do you want to wait my turn?
You go ahead now. You know,
There's a motion to table.
okay.
Yes, I'll talk to you.
Okay. Had a motion, George made the motion, and I have a second on that,
Second.
RJ. Okay, roll call please.
Cornish,
Yes. Here.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
and Bennett.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, we'll just wait on you, Cody, until it's your turn, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, move on to finance, George. I mean, not George, that's fine.
Unless you wanted to.
Yeah, you could do it. No, you still want the ordinance there.
Alright, so going back to the banking a little bit, we talked about this, last week. To finalize an agreement, we need to get in there, who has authority to do what, got some piece of papers here, I can run it down for you if you want, statutorily, the treasurer is the account control person, the treasurer, the clerk and the mayor can sign things. We have a little more freedom on some of these other things, but the way we would like to do it is, online account, access to transfer funds, that would go to Michelle and Tricia. You only access, not to be able to move things, but just look at them, Stephanie, clerk and the mayor. Remote deposit access would be for, clerk and Stephanie. Positive pay, submission access, that's the fraud prevention feature that would go to Michelle and Tricia, as would the fraud alerts. So I think what we need is so the council will vote that that's okay to put in the. Agreed.
Does it need a motion or anything?
Probably best just to refer that so that that will be included in ordinance. Finalized.
Who are the people on signing the documents?
Treasurer, clerk and mayor.
Am I good?
So, I'll move that all be included. Okay.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please. Any discussion first? Okay, roll call, please.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith, Yes. Washington,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
and Cornish. Cornish,
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to,
I got one more.
we got one more, all right.
We talked about this last week too. Apparently we've got an account with sewer fund account with Raymond James. It's been idle for a while. It's got like $150,000 in it. We've been getting very, very bad interest. As of the end of August, we've made only $153 for the year on that and had to give 75 of that back in fees. So we are wanting to close out this account and fold it into our existing sewer account. Is that correct, Jessica? Summarizing
We just
that.
asked you to get the resolution drawn for us to be able to do that.
You know, make a motion.
I would make a motion for that.
Anybody, any discussion? Anybody want to make a second? I'll second. George? Roll call, please.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Bennett,
Yes. Cornish,
Yes.
Pharaoh.
Yes. Is that it? All right, now we'll move on to ordinance, George.
Ordinance. Committee recommended that we apply for a Metro East Parks and Recreation District grant to be used to increase the Illinois 4 sidewalk project from Schutz Street to Schlaffer Drive to increase the width of the sidewalk to make it a multi-use path, and it'll go from 5 feet to 10 feet. The language isn't really good here. That's why I've used my own language. The estimated cost of the increase is $172,879. The real cost is about $70,000. Because they're grants, two grants combined. We don't have all the data here, but basically it is going to be applying for a grant that can be used for up to 50% of the project from Metro East Park District. We got those figures here somewhere.
Yeah, so if you guys have one of these,
It's TWM, yeah.
yeah, the TWA one, so it shows like our initial one for the 5 foot, our share was 168,742. And then extending it to this 10 foot makes us 172,879, which is a difference of $4,137.
Right.
So that's how much extra it'll be to go from 5 foot to 10 foot.
And the difference is instead of having a 5 foot short sidewalk, we're gonna have 1,200 feet of shared use pathway on the east side of Madison Street.
West side.
West side? Yeah, it's on the west side. There is another project that's gonna put a shared use pathway on the east side.
Yeah, that was a little further out.
That's a little further out. So it's gonna, basically, it's going to create the west side pathway.
George, do you need to amend that since you changed the figures? It's on the agenda?
I mean, that figures the total.
That's the total.
It's a total of the words.
Okay, all right. Okay, it comes from committee, so it doesn't need a second. Roll call, please.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Bennett. Yes. Cornish,
Yes.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
and Crumsick.
The committee recommends approving a business district grant for $2,311.50 for the Lebanon Chamber of Commerce to refinish the original upstairs flooring of the Lebanon Visitor Center located at 221 West St. Louis Street.
Any discussion about that? Yeah, comes to committee, so it doesn't need a second. A roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Bennett. Yes. Cornish,
Yes.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Crumsick,
Yes.
Marcinkowski.
Yes. Okay, that's it. Okay, RJ, your newly appointed committee chair here, water and sewer.
Okay, well, I don't have anything right now. We meet October 20th, 2025 at 6:30. Penny, I was wondering if I could get with you, after the meeting and see if maybe we can schedule something maybe this week possibly for me to come, just kind of see what's going on, all that kind of stuff or whatever. And awesome. Thank you.
Amber, you weren't here, but I switched you from public property to cemetery. As far as the chair.
Do I have a say so in that? No. I don't? No, take what they do.
Yeah, I got sewer and water.
Yeah.
Now I got. So it's like poopy job.
So do you have anything on the cemetery? You don't have anything. Okay, all right, Ms. Washington. Health and safety.
Are we finished with the contract? Hello?
With Metzger?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's finalized and
Yep.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Our next meeting is October the 20th, 6:30.
Thank you. Okay, Paul, you've been assigned to the new guy, public property. So you have any, you don't even have an agenda.
I have no clue yet.
Okay.
What does that entail? Just curious.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
There's an error in the agenda. Is there a reason why we would not be meeting on Monday? October the 5th is saying we're meeting on Tuesday, October 6th.
October sixth is Monday.
What?
October the sixth is a Monday.
It is?
Yeah,
It
so we
says
just need
Tuesday.
to change it to Monday.
It says Tuesday, so that needs to be
Oh,
changed
my
to
bad.
Monday.
That's from Labor Day.
Yes, that's Labor Day usually.
Yeah, cut and paste.
Sorry, I just noticed that. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Okay. Personnel, Mr. Bennett.
Okay, nothing for this night, there.
Okay,
We'll meet October 20th, 6:30 p.m.
okay, thank you. Okay. Paul, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Nothing? Okay, Jessica, you have any more?
No, I'm good today.
You're good today? Okay. Luke, you have anything?
Just to clarify on the Hunter lift station issue. What I said is that if we choose to pull out and put back in, is that there would be a fight over who is responsible for the cost of if it's damaged. Not that we would be responsible for it. I'm saying that there would be arguments made on both sides. The other problem may be if we select that option, they may start trying to say that parts of the contract cover this and this is our choice and there's gonna be arguments in there. That's what I wanted to advise everybody of. And the realistic portion of it is that if it's completely been unsalvageable afterwards, then the realistic portion of getting into replacement and the timeline and all those kinds of things. I've talked to Penny a little bit because there's some questions about the grant and some of those kinds of things and whether or not whether or not we'd have an issue in the timeline of the grant and stuff like that. I'm hopeful that that's not an issue, but still something to be aware of. So I just want to be clear. It's not the city's hard and fast going to be responsible if it gets pulled out and damaged. It becomes more of it depends, which is, I know ironically what you always say, but it becomes much more of it depends when we choose. And it's the suggestion of having a second opinion look at it gives us better leverage moving forward with selecting that option. If we have a second contractor or engineer say, this is the better option, that's why we're choosing that option. If it comes back to somebody saying something in the future. I just wanted to clarify that. So other than that, I don't have anything other than stuff that's on the agenda other places.
Okay, thank you. Okay, department heads, chief.
A couple things, the speed signs that we put up, I'm getting positive feedback. From citizens, not all positive, but mostly positive, feedback from the community on them. I was going to bring the data tonight, but our copier broke at the police department. So I will have it next week before I get ready to copy on there. I glanced at it at a glance. I was somewhat surprised on the average speed in Belleville, on Belleville Street. Wasn't near as fast as what I anticipated. But I'll bring that data, next week, with my copier. The other thing is, our SWAT 5 broke down for the third time. It's one of the newer SWAT trucks. Doesn't even have 6,000 miles on it. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. This is the third different issue. I may be coming back to you on the mother-in-law stuff. If that happens.
Must be a Ford, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. That's all.
George had something.
Chief, just to check with you on this, I noticed the other day when I was coming down, I think it was Belleville Street. But the panel appears to be in a shadow because after a day of cloudiness and no rain and so on, it was out.
Because I think I told you a couple weeks ago that where they're at, they may have to be changed.
Okay.
Need location changed. So
Yeah, I'll get some.
Yeah, that is gonna be done. There was one other thing too. I spoke with, Public Safety Director Tomlinson too regarding speaking with the athletes and the young adults at McHenry about their driving habits. That will be done here shortly. So we're trying to hit the problem from all sides.
Did you also talk to them about walking habits?
You can only do one thing at a time.
Okay. The whole
Just
street,
teasing.
the whole street is a crosswalk, and then students will space themselves so that there's always somebody in the crosswalk. And so you don't wanna drive through there at a quarter to the hour to about 5 minutes after the hour.
I'll work on it.
Chief, or because of a question that was raised. I don't advise you on criminal matters, all
I
that
know
goes
that.
through state's attorney's.
Yes,
office.
all that's from the state's attorney. Yes.
Anything else, chief?
No.
Okay, streets, Cody?
So we in? I'm gonna run down the list, Ron. If there's any questions, just for info that you had, that's, they don't mind, if you had a quick question on here, we can get into tonight, that'd be great as well. Start with Ron real quick. Up to the 50% being vague, we kind of went into that process area, so the ideology behind that is that if you were to put a new sidewalk in front of your house because you felt like you needed a new sidewalk, there's nothing really wrong with it, then we probably would be closer to that 0 to 10% range. It's just kind of focusing on the people that really need to have that money, if you will. Especially in Ward 2, where there are some sidewalks that are anywhere from 4 to 6 to 8 inches in the air because of trees. We feel like that's more of a 50%, but if you want something done because, like, say you drive your big truck across it, it cracks and it's one of those, okay. We understand we want to help you fix it, but at the same time, we're not gonna give you that 50% because maybe it was something that you did, but we still want to offer something. Not nothing, or we can go 0 if we feel like there's absolute neglect. So that's why it's kind of vague. That gives it that spectrum. It wasn't to try and hide anything on that end. I know that's not what you're getting at, but I just want to make that clear to the public. So it's basically as a more needed basis. If you came to me with an absolute terrible sidewalk and someone came with me with a sidewalk that's still walkable, probably gonna favor that money in the budget for the one that needs it, the more. I need it more, but it's also dependent on when you get that application in. We also commented about the budgeting, so there should be roughly about 20,000 plus in there. Sometimes when we try to get to that, the sidewalks that really need it have, I'm sorry, I had to go to this point, but have large trees that are in a 4 or 5 foot section of sidewalk that start moving around my sidewalk, start pushing curbs up, start moving around water meter basins or anything like that. So our goal is to go in and mitigate that and get that, taken care of. So some of that sometimes gets allocated to taking some of the tree out or grinding stuff out. So we're just really trying to make sure we're getting good sidewalks in. With that being said, that 20,000, I'm gonna subcategorize that only for replacement sidewalks. It'll be categorized for home ownership. There is a section that we do, it's called SRTS, we wanna match funds with it. And our goal is to start at the high school, junior high, work our way out of town, so that way at some point when you get the great sidewalks, you're not going on a nice sidewalk, walking on bad sidewalk, nice sidewalk, vice versa, alright? So it's a good sidewalk all the way to the school once you get on one. I have this written down, so you might have to help me on this. I think this is the contractors. So the reason why we want to go with good contractors first, good faith, the city wants to bid that out. The reason why it's written in there is the city of Muscoda asked their process of this, and I thought it was a great idea. Before the fiscal year starts, they go out to bid for contractors, and that contractor has certain qualifications that they have to meet. Right, because ADA is also something they have to meet as well. So if we're using a contractor that's fly by night, and he comes in and slaps all these ADAs in, and then I pave a road and the ADAs are wrong. We're looking at 15 grand an intersection. That's on the light end. That's actually because we were going over some of the numbers recently for over Ward 2. So we want to make sure that like we're vetting our people, right? We want to make sure we're using good contractors for other reasons that the people know in town as well, right? So that's what I had on that section. You said look at new subdivisions. So to my understanding, maybe you can help me out on this a little bit too. So when you put a house out on Acorn Way, the subdivision, you put the sidewalk in after the house is built. Is that, am I understanding that correctly? So when that sidewalk, if something happens to that sidewalk, I'm not saying that we can't help you. I don't know the ins and out of that. I don't think there's anything that they can't.
My question was putting sidewalks where there aren't any. If there's a lot out there, so
For like the open lots.
yeah, open lots that
My
are.
is we put a sidewalk in, open lot, and then they come in to do construction on it, how much are they gonna tear out? Now, with that being said too, maybe we just have a rider, we put the sidewalks in, we fill the gaps, and then we hold them accountable for driving over the sidewalk. So I get that point too, and Luke and I'd be glad to look at that.
I'm looking at cases where the next door neighbors bought the lot. This happens all over town.
So you're saying like like someone has a lot and they buy the one next to
I
it?
bought the one next to me.
Yeah.
I want to put a sidewalk in there.
Right, yeah, no, so we
I'm
can
never
look at
gonna,
that.
I'm never gonna build on it. So,
Right.
I'm never gonna build on
You don't want two taxes, property taxes? For two houses?
it. No.
Nice, yes. Yeah, so Luke and I, we'll go over that
Look
for
into
sure.
that part because
Yeah.
this is not just in our subdivision.
It's
It's all over town where you got people that walk a lot next door and there's no sidewalk. And we walk the dogs a lot. It's.
No, I
All
understand.
over town.
So I think the idea behind that was maybe a pump track here, but the idea was once that pump truck comes in, they start to do construction, you have a nice sidewalk out front, you drive over it 100 times.
Well,
you
I
have
understand that in a new subdivision,
Right.
subdivisions on.
Right.
This is
So-
where it's been there for 50, 30 years.
Right, no, I understand.
25. of this.
Luke, you think we could probably hammer that out?
So my thought with that is we've got a clarification in there that it does not apply for new subdivisions, primarily because we haven't fully accepted the new subdivisions. If it's an older subdivision and it's the property, the lot owner, rather than the developer coming to us and asking for it, I think that's a different category, and we can clarify that.
Yeah, we can try to clean that up to where it states on there, right? So maybe it's the time frame, or maybe it's X amount of the subdivision has to be developed before we consider it, and that's gotta be within the city acceptance.
See,
So,
figure it out.
yeah, that's what he makes big bucks. I think that's all I had for you, Mr. Runford. Or anything that I missed? I know I was a little late. I apologize. Was there anything that I missed besides track two?
And you may not be able to answer, but when you guys took over Belleville Street, was there any incentives from why did the city take it over if they're not getting anything back? And I mean, they didn't even cut the grass before you guys took over. They didn't fix the bad spot in the road. Now that's all on the city. I mean, what gain did the city get for taking that over? I guess is my question.
Yeah, so the main game that we were looking at, right, is the motor fuel bond. Every mile of road that we have to get money back. Now, from a money standpoint, will it take some time? Yes. The other reason I think we annexed on the other half, and I'm not saying we think, I know is, would a Fowler ever come this far and annex over? Probably not. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But we did already lose, 64 North. And I didn't want to be a part of the city council 25 years from now, and they say, well, that during city eleven, it could have annexed Belleville Street, now it's part of Found. So it's just trying to be productive. I know the city hasn't grown in a while. We are kind of limited. There are some farms outside of town that kind of help block that, so it doesn't help the city. But we do want to grow. We want to be a little more enticing, and it wasn't being cut. The road was a little rough. We did talk to Norm Etling, and we settled on, yeah, they didn't fix the end of the road. They came out, put a grate out there. They didn't cut it. O'Fallon had to cut it. So our goal is to try and keep it looking nice, because I'm a firm believer in, and I myself, when I travel, if I'm driving down the interstate, and I see a clean cut, if in exchange of getting off the interstate, or a town that just looks like as well, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get fuel. I'm gonna stop in. I'm gonna get something to eat. So the goal is just to make it look a little more appetizing when you come into town, instead of having tall weeds. That's just kind of my answer on it. Now, they might have a little bit of different answer, but I just feel like the citizens of them deserve to be able to come in town and not see 6-foot ragweeds.
Thanks.
Any other questions before I end my soapbox?
You done then, Cody?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, Kenny?
All I have is, still we are on free chlorine. Had more people make complaints about the taste of the water. That is pretty common when we're on free chlorine. That will go on for several weeks, and we will be flushing hydrants the 14th and 15th of October. Usually do that to ensure that the free chlorine is all throughout town, and change, the water over that's in the tower, the ground storage tank. We have contacted another engineer to look at Turner Street, and that is ongoing. I don't have any more news on that right now.
George, you got a question?
Yes, in the meantime, can we get the contractor back to finish, putting the, yards that were torn up back in the shape?
I have,
That's one you and I've discussed before, where it says in the fall, right?
yes, since I talked with TWM about that. There's a pay request out for the engineer, or I'm sorry, for the contractor for the work that they have done. So far, we've paid or nothing for that project. I think that is somewhat holding them up from coming back to do any more work because we haven't paid them anything. So I will reach out to them again tomorrow, but as of right now, I've heard nothing about them returning.
That all you got, Ben?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Blake?
I have nothing in that.
Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. First one is discuss, approve the plan commission findings and recommendations.
They need to be looked at more and we need to come up with some language for them.
So you want to table it, then, George?
Yeah. We have to look at that.
I would caution about like, I understand tabling the recommendations on everything else, but as far as Sylvan Drive goes, my suggestion would be to accept the recommendation with the restrictions that they have to be code compliant with all regulatory requirements and all occupancy requirements.
It's fine.
That would be my suggestion. Obviously, the council can table the whole thing if they want more time on that one.
That would be, if we table them, it's 2 more weeks before.
Yeah, because then we get a better chance to look it over.
Because we want to make sure the language is right.
Yeah.
And what I can do is if you accept the recommendation on Sylvan Drive, then the next step is for me to put together the findings and the resolution, which you could look at next committee. And then you can decide if you're willing to accept it as in that basis. And then you can discuss the other recommendations all you want to.
Well, then let's recommend approval of the plan commission's recommendation for Sylvan Drive.
For Sylvan Drive? Okay. Any discussion? Motion start.
No, we need the motion.
Yeah.
This is the motion now.
Yeah, that's your motion, then, right?
Yeah.
Motion, do I need a second? Second, that, okay. Mike? Okay, any more discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Washington,
No.
Bennett. Oh, tabling this.
No,
No, that's it. You want to state your thing again, George, about the,
we're moving that, we're going to accept the plan commission's recommendations for the Sylvan Drive address.
Sylvan Vista thing.
That way they have to follow the rules.
Is that a yes then?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, no problem.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith. Nope.
Is that it? Okay, the second one is discuss approve the removal of 3 trees at the city town square.
We have no idea which 3 trees it is.
Cody's here.
I was gonna say, if you wanna wait, you wanna table it, you guys wanna come up and look at it, that'd be phenomenal. I do wanna point out to you guys, it's not the cedar trees. That'd be really silly, cedar love them. But I do also wanna make it very clear, there's more than 3 that we're looking at, for the simple fact of the city of Cedars. And the cedar trees are very unhealthy right now because the other trees are shading them out. So you're gonna have to make a decision on if you wanna be the city of oak trees. Or the city of Cedars, to take care of the trees that were planted in the 50s, 60s. For us to take care of. And then the one that we really do need to take out, sorry, RJ, that was struck by lightning, or that's what I was told. It's right next to the bank and it's missing at least half of the top of it. So field trips tomorrow, I'm gonna clear from 8 to 3.
Can you mark them?
I can absolutely flag them, but I'm telling you right now, last time we flagged trees, it was a disaster.
Why?
Because we had phone calls day after day after day, when is it coming down, it's flagged, why isn't it down yesterday?
Oh, well, don't worry about that.
I can flag them, just be ready to answer questions in your reward, that's all I'm saying.
You have to be someplace else at 8:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, so 8:45 filter. I know, and I know it's under unfinished, I did wanna say, if anyone is available tomorrow at 8:30, as Charlie's pointing out, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources would come in to assess the sinkhole that has popped up on the 200 block that was just finished for road construction. Our concern is that if it's mine subsidence, that it's already affected the road, and I don't want it to affect the sewer line. So we're having someone come in and take a look at it, see what our options are. There's no guarantees on it, but if it is mine subsidence, there are options for them to come in and help it mitigate that, because it's very expensive to mitigate mine subsidence issues. So they will be in tomorrow. We are proactively working with IDNR, and they actually responded at 6:45 this morning when I emailed them at 6:30. So they're on the ball. They're coming out of Edwardsville. Again, if anybody wants to make 2 field trips tomorrow, 1 down there, 2 to the trees, I'll be glad to take them.
And on that same note, there's been a lot of discussion of it being a sewer issue. We spent money with TWM and had that sewer televised before the road ever went in, make sure the sewer didn't need any rehabilitation before that road went in. They looked at it all, it was fine. We did re-televise it on Friday, clean the sewer so we could see it better, and re-televised today. Still did not see anything obvious that was a problem with the sewer, so.
We want to mitigate that before our main line becomes a sag from if there's a void underneath it from the line check.
Okay, we're gonna table the trees then pending
So
field trips.
the proper action would be to refer it back to the appropriate.
Refer back to the committee.
Refer back to committee, okay.
I didn't come out a committee, but it would probably be
Is that-
it would be the property committee.
Oh, you get to work? Oh. Does that need a motion or anything there, Luke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll move it,
Okay.
refer the tree issue back to the properties committee.
okay. Need a second?
Second.
Okay. RJ. Any discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington.
Is that it? Okay, now the last one, new business, discuss, recommend approval of McKendree's annual 5K walk run on Saturday, October 25th, starting at 7 a.m. I think that's, okay.
Are they borrowing barricades?
They have their own.
They're gonna
They say that every year, and then they borrow 20 barricades. That's why they don't
They're gonna have people.
I get stuck doing it, so I don't think.
You just have to have the Boy Scout model, I'd be prepared.
I guess, but we're losing 10 barricades a year, and it's not cheap, so.
Need a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Nothing, okay, roll call please.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes, in the same.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Is that, okay, now I need a motion to adjourn.
Most of German by voice.
That it? Hey, guys, we're done. Oh, you're off. Yeah, he's actually.
No, no.